What is going on, guys? I want to talk about the tandem of Big Play Slay and James Bradberry. Okay, can they be the best tandem in the NFL, or like one of the best tandems in the NFL? And with Bradberry, Slay, I'm glad. Look, I don't know what we do without Big Play Slay, because at this point, glad we traded for him. And man, I wish this guy was younger, because I would hold on to this guy for as long as possible. I think he's on contract throughout the 2023 season, and then he's a free agent. With James Bradberry coming from to be the number one corner with the Giants and now becoming a number two, I think it's a really good spot for him. I think this is one of the best signings that we've had. We didn't draft a corner this year. We have a lot of depth behind it. A lot of bodies are behind it now with Tay Gowan, Zech McPherson, Matt McCain, Kerry Vincent Jr. I mean, you have a lot of guys now. In that spot. So even the new guy we picked up a couple days ago. So I feel like there's a lot of depth, a lot of bodies to find out what you're going to have, not just this year, but going to next year. But if you guys remember, if Howie Roseman lets, Bradberry plays out his contract this year, the Eagles get a compensatory pick as high as a third-round pick this year. Which I think plays, like I said, it's played into the compensatory pick game for next year, which is pretty good. So, as of right now, it's I don't know what's going to happen. I think it really depends on this defensive line, because I don't care how good corners you have. I think the secondary definitely struggled last year, but it was because of this defensive line. If if quarterbacks are throwing on their first read, or if they're if quarterbacks are sitting in the pocket for 8-9 seconds and these guys are still on coverage, it's a problem right now. Now with the linebackers and what you want to do with these guys, it's going to definitely help these cornerbacks and help this defensive line, maybe help these cornerbacks. It all comes around circle with all these positions up front defensively. But when you have James Bradberry, this is a guy that hasn't been a Pro Bowler since 2020. Okay, he gave up over 800 yards last year. So, I mean, it's a little alarming. I mean, but like I said, he's not coming in here to be the main guy. He's not, everything is going to be on his plate. I think it's definitely an upgrade over Steven Nelson regardless. I think their success, and I think with Big Play Slay, I think with Bradberry's success is really going to depend on this defensive line, the pressures, and obviously how they're using these linebackers this year. I think that's what's going to make a big difference, because as I would say, above average bridge corner in James Bradberry, and I think, he kind of wants to revive his career a little bit. I mean, last year, what do you have? 3 picks? What do you have? 3-4 picks? I could be wrong about that, but I know he gave up over like 800 yards receiving. So he gave up a lot last year. But with Big Play Slay, I think he still plays at a high level. He had 3 to 4 touchdowns last year off interceptions, which I thought it was great, or fumble recoveries, whatever it is. He's done a fantastic job here. I mean, I think last year was probably Slay's best year in his whole entire career, even out of all the years in Detroit. I think last year was probably his best year of his career. Even the year before, even 2020, he had still a solid year, but he gave up 2 100-yard games. I think one was DK Metcalf. I forgot what the other wide receiver he gave up 100 yards to, but that was his worst year, giving up 2 against 2 receivers to 100 yards receiving. I mean, that's a down year for Slay. So you know how great he is and what he does on the field for us. And it really depends on the success of these corners. If, are they going to play these corners back? From what Jonathan Gann said at his press conference the other day, unfortunately, he's going to go back to the old scheme. And, he always gave the excuse of we didn't have the right players for this specific scheme, for this hybrid scheme. And he's going to do the same thing he did last year, the soft zone coverage, which I did not like. I felt like, we didn't want to give up the big play, but right now I think with Bradberry in the mix now, you could do a lot of press coverage, because both of these guys are very good at press coverage, and on top of everything else, in zone, I think Bradberry is probably one of the best, just because knows how to knock the ball out. He's very smart. He's got a high football IQ. He could pop the ball out any minute with these receivers. He's got big, long arms. I mean, he's strong. When he gets into the receiver, he's very strong. So I think there's a lot of good things to take from it. But I know the cons about having James Bradberry, because, last year was last year, but that's all I can look at right now to say that, there's, he gave up a lot of yards last year. But obviously, the Giants' defense being a total failure last year with a failing coaching staff, and obviously, he, wasn't the best at his game, because he can't do it all by himself out there. I mean, it is what it is. But I think you're going to have a really good tandem this year. I think you're going to. If this defensive line plays well, I think they're going to have even a better year. I think this will be one of the best tandems in the NFL, and I think with, and like I said, I'm not saying that they can all do it by themselves, because I don't think Slay can, and I know Bradberry will need some help. I'm not saying Bradberry's going to be perfect going to this year, but I think that he will be able to hold his own as a number 2. And if this defensive line gets pressures where it should be for what we have accounted for so far this year, between the draft, getting Jordan Davis, having Fletch, Javon Hargrave will maybe be freed up a little bit with Hassan Reddick helping on the edge, and Josh Sweat, and you have good depth there. So there should be no reason why Bradberry shouldn't have a good year. He should have a fantastic year this year, I'm hoping. But let me know in the comment section what you guys think about this tandem. Do you think it'll be one of the best? Do you think that Bradberry is going to get picked on? And do you think that, are we going to get a different Bradberry approach going into this year as a number 2 than he was a number 1 with the Giants? And like I said before, the Giants were a total mess last year, the past couple years. So, they signed a lot of, Gettleman signed a lot of bad contracts defensively, overpaid a lot of guys defensively. So, it's just been a total wreck. And the Eagles, we need more pressure. We need to get after the quarterback. And these guys shouldn't be working this hard. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. The coverage from these cornerbacks to the pressure from the defensive line comes hand in hand, because it helps each other out very well. And I hope that's the case. So with Bradberry and Darius Slay, I have a good feeling that they will be one of the best playing this year, and I think it's a huge upgrade, especially with Avonte Maddox, and obviously what's behind it, and we'll find out during OTAs and training camp. So other than that, guys, pretty much it. Let me know, guys, what you guys think about Bradberry and Big Play Slay back there, and what do you think how they're going to play and just play together, and how Bradberry is going to do this year. You guys let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys on the next one. SHAKESQUAD up, follow slide. Peace out, guys. Peace.